Just a friendly reminder that the opinions expressed on this show are not worth a Canadian penny, so disregard anything you hear that might get anyone in trouble. And despite some of the great ideas you may hear, don't try them at home. Go to a friend's house instead.
It's time to get a gun. That's what I've been thinking. Well, I could afford one. And if I did just a little less drinking, time to put something between me and the sun. When the talking is over, it's time to get a gun.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to episode 185 of Slamfire Radio for December 16th, 2016. I'm one of your hosts, Matthew.
And I'm Adriel.
And I'm Kelly.
I'm satisfied with this introduction. This was good.
You messed it up.
I'm also Trevor.
Hi, satisfied?
Hi.
Hello, satisfied.
So does this make us now 185 episodes?
Old.
Does this make us the longest running Canadian pro gun podcast in Canadian pro gun podcast history? Have we surpassed everything that's ever been out there?
We've certainly surpassed 184 episodes, which is what we did last week.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Beat that record?
Yep. We're going to beat our own record every week.
We're going to hit 200 soon. I mean...
What are we going to do then? Well, we'll quit, right? 200 and we're done.
No, we quit at 100. We've been done for a long time.
Yeah, we kind of have been.
I think Matthew, you get to quit, right?
I get to
Again?
quit first. If anybody gets to quit, it's me. I get to quit first. I've been podcasting for far longer than I ever thought I'd ever be
You're not allowed to
podcasting.
quit.
Yeah, you're both right, actually. You're right and Kelly's right.
All right. Speaking of right, Trevor, why don't you ask Adriel what he did in guns this week?
Adriel, what did you do in guns?
I like the misdirection. Let's see. Well, I assembled the 3-in-1 gun. So
That thing is awesome. Tell us about it. Tell the listeners about it for those who aren't on your Facebook feed. Or our Facebook feed.
I have a question right off of the bat. What kind of case do you put this thing in?
Oh no, you
wrap
have
it
to
in a
break
garbage
down
bag, bungee strap.
and then bring it.
Some
And then
assembly.
you put a lock on the bungee strap.
Yeah.
You have to lock it.
Yeah.
Are you really going to bring it to a 3-gun match?
I'm not going to bring it to a 3-gun match because I'm
should.
probably
Come
too
on.
serious for 3-gun to bring it to a 3-gun match. But
You
I
can't.
will. What's that?
You wouldn't be able to because depending on the stage, how would you know?
Oh yeah,
just-
you can't stage your guns. for it.
No, just bring it. Everybody will have a hoot.
Yeah, you could do that. Kelly's right. You could do that. You pull that thing out and go. So guys,
I'm ready.
I've never been to a 3-gun match, but this is correct, right? This is how.
Yeah.
Tell us what you did.
Okay, so buddy of mine, Chad, had made these rails that kind of clamp onto the pick rails. So it's a pick rail to pick rail clamp. And that Picatinny rail, that bumpy part that you see on a lot of military rifles, it's kind of like a rail on the top. I've got those on my AR, and I've got one on the top of my shotgun, and I've got one on the bottom of my pistol. So, I kind of combined all of those, and I basically, the shotgun's kind of like a master key setup where it's slung along the bottom of the AR. So there's the shotgun AR combo. That part kind of makes sense. Not with the extension tube I have on that shotgun, but
Yeah, the
like
barrel's a
having
little long, but whatever.
Yeah. So the barrel and the extension tube are both quite long on that thing. But there are AR-15s where you run a shotgun on the bottom to use as like a door breacher kind of a thing. And there are kits to do that kind of thing. The kits are very expensive, and these clamps were quite a bit cheaper. So there's that. And then it's also got a pistol on the... I didn't really know which side I should put it on. So I put it on the right-hand side so I could use my strong hand at least to shoot that pistol. So the idea is I am going to do like a real serious getting into 3-gun video with that and take it like really, really super seriously and show me shooting it and that kind of thing, and then put it on the web. And
I look forward to said video. This is going to be great.
I try not to take myself too seriously, so I'm gonna pop that guy out there. It's super heavy, by the way.
Well, I bet. It probably weighs, 15, 20 pounds?
Yeah, reloading the shotgun on the
probably,
bottom
right?
is going to be a chore, and not sweeping myself while I'm doing all this, like observing safe gun handling, is going to be a challenge as well, because there's 3 barrels sticking out the front of this thing. But
I want to see you holster it.
Yeah. holster your pistol. Like,
Crap.
try. Yeah, but the pistol does function while it's in there. It's the pick rail on the bottom. I've used like a rail adapter that kind of clamps on the bottom, and then puts another rail on top of the pistol, and that's the one I've clamped. So the slide is free to actuate while it's clamped into this beast. So
That's cool.
There was some practicality that was baked into this thing. I'm telling you.
Yeah, very little, but there was some.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah. No, mostly it was just like a fun, silly thing to do, and now I got my kicks out, and now I'm going to shoot a video as if it's serious. So
Cool.
that's that. And then I met with listener Mark. You guys have met Mark with a K.
Yes.
Mark with a K.
He was
So
in
he
our
was in
class.
Edmonton. And, yeah, we talked about three
He
guns.
cooked that awesome
target,
corn, didn't he?
Cooked that awesome corn and
That's
steak.
what I
Yeah.
thought. Yeah, the corn.
Yep. He bought me dinner. Yeah.
He bought you dinner. Was it a Subway?
Nope.
Oh.
I had a pizza and 2 beers.
Nice.
Serious? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need
Major
more
upgrade.
listeners in New Brunswick, specifically northern New Brunswick, specifically Edmundston. Matt Doucette, if you're listening, I think you need
They
to
give
buy
you
me dinner.
guns.
What?
They give you guns.
What they do?
Yeah, you
That's
got an
true.
AR-15.
Well, that and Mark lent me his Volquarts, and so I guess okay, Mark Matt. I mean not Mark. Matt, you're off the hook. I'll buy you dinner for letting me borrow the gun. Actually, that's what I should do.
I would just like to say I appreciate the listeners for just, being
Being
Yeah,
good
be
person.
quiet,
Yeah,
you taking the high road, whatever.
and,
That's Kelly's job to be classy, not you.
I got a house full of stuff that people have given me. What am I saying?
Matthew, didn't you get an AR-15 out of this? Never mind.
Yeah, but I mean,
Adriel, you got a pizza.
The most
But thank
valuable
you,
thing is
everyone.
just like getting to know all these great listeners, and the valuable discussions that we have with them is more than enough reward for me.
Yeah.
I laugh because but it's actually true.
It's true.
It really is actually true, but we can't come across serious and actually nice. I mean, we got a certain persona to hold on to here.
You are nice.
What's a persona?
I don't even know.
All right. What
I'm
else
just making
did
up
you do,
words as we
Adriel?
go along.
Mark gave me this magnet magazine pouch kind of a thing. So he made it out of some stuff he got from Home Depot. It's a couple like really strong magnets. I've got a couple of magazine holders where if you've got a steel magazine, you can kind of just clip it there because it uses magnets.
So it's a
but this-
mag pouch.
That's a magazine.
A
Yeah,
mag pouch.
Magnetic magazine pouch?
Yeah, mag.
Yeah, there we go. No, it's just a tech lock with a couple of magnets screwed into it. So it's really strong because they use these two really beefy magnets.
So you go to grab your mag and your whole belt comes off with it because it's like neodymium or what do you call those things?
like super magnets, yeah.
Yeah.
Rare earth.
Yeah, those ones. I don't even know how to pronounce them, but they start with a B, I think, or an N or a Q or I don't know.
one of those weird letters.
One of those letters.
It's
But
an
it's-
N. It's like neo.
Neodymium or something.
Yeah. or-
That's-
Yeah.
Iridium.
Neuridium?
Yeah.
Iridium.
Sure.
Wait.
I don't know.
No, it's like I've seen some guys with homemade magazine pouches with those magnets before, and I've seen them run and dump their mags on the ground, and like it's the worst thing possible because then you got to like run back and you probably needed that magazine, right?
Probably.
You're either going to run across some no shoots or whatever. So too strong is not really a huge problem when it comes to a mag pouches. So, anyways, thanks a lot, Mark.
Yeah, that's cool.
Neodymium. Oh, it's got M's in
Neodymium.
there.
Neodymium.
No one
There we go.
cares.
Hey, I looked it up.
Kelly looked it up for us. I care,
Gold star
Kelly.
for you, Kelly.
Hey, I don't think you can hand those out.
I'm going to need that back by the end of the show, by the way.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kelly, what did you do in guns this week?
I went to SFRC. I was trying to look for a Magpul stock. They're out. Just kidding.
Oh, that would have been hilarious.
Well, they are out, but I'm getting you one. Not you.
Not me, no, of course. What am I going to do with one?
I don't shave your legs.
Shave my legs with the stock? Weird.
Yeah. So no. Went to SFRC on Saturday. Sunday is usually our range day, and we had a storm. Anyway, so we didn't go to that. But one of the things I wanted to ask you guys was Sundays shooting. Do you guys have that at your ranges? Because we had been on a call recently, and they were talking about no shooting on Sunday because it was a municipal bylaw. Do you guys have a?
We don't have such a thing here. We can shoot any day of the week.
Yeah.
We can't hunt on Sundays, but we can.
Well,
we can shoot.
we can 3 Sundays of the year, but, otherwise no.
No.
Yeah, I
you
can.
can't.
No
I can shoot
hunting,
on
but
Oh, okay. All right. So I just thought it was odd, especially since it was Ontario and not too that these
that's
people
why I don't find it odd.
shoot on a
Well,
Sunday. But I
it-
can. Like our bylaws say we can. So
Yeah, we've got at my range. I think it's 11 a.m. So it's just a little bit different. It's not instead of like 1 hour after sunrise or whatever. It's 11 a.m. on Sundays. But I don't know. It doesn't bother me. I'm not really an early riser, so I don't
when
know.
everybody's at church.
We're not even an hour after. We're dusk till dawn.
Yeah, same. That's the same time. All right. I just thought I'd ask because it was
8
brought
days a week.
8 days a week.
week.
You guys got to work on your
All right.
math.
The other thing that happened was I got my paperwork in the mail for the Frontenac Club. Originally, I've been going as a guest of Kevin because he's a member, and he bought a family membership, but because of the fact we weren't living together, I couldn't join. And now that we're living together, I'm officially able to join. So I'm going to get that done. I had to actually give them all kinds of stuff, too. I had to give them, like, my Club Little ATT that I did at Brockville and the handgun safety course. The handgun safety course. And then I gave them...
Lame.
I know.
They certainly do
But
like their
there's-
paperwork, don't they?
They're still requiring it, yeah. And I also gave them my RSO certificate that I got from the CSSA. And that they just want to make sure that I'm safe, or relatively safe.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that sort of stuff if it actually shows to improve safety, but if it's just because some executive who has too much power is just likes to lord it over people, that sort of thing just drives me nuts.
I know. Go ahead, Kelly.
I was going to say that I really want to be a part of this club, so I'm not going to say anything.
No, exactly.
Well, and I was just going to make the point. Look, I know we're supposed to support each other, but sometimes we are our own worst enemy.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I have the biggest problem with is a club ATT course. Look, the government is going to give me the ATT. Why are you making me take a course? Or why is the Ontario CFO making the club make me take a course?
And that's
before
what
I'm
it
gonna get
normally
the
ends
ATT?
up being, is the CFO is making the club do it.
Yeah, and
And-
why is the Ontario CFO doing it when nobody else is? You know, it's just more crappy bureaucracy for red tape for the sake of it. So
Which does, yeah, exactly, and it's for the sake of it, and it actually does nothing to actually improve safety. So I hate things that are
I think
non-functioning.
I think one of the reasons is also they want to be able to prove to their insurance holders that their members are all safe as
they
well.
probably have the same insurance holders that we have here in New Brunswick, and we don't have to
Absolutely.
prove it to them.
Okay, never mind.
So-
Anyways, I really want to be able to go by myself. I'm really getting tired of
As well, you should be able to.
wait for Kevin.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I really hate going with Kevin.
no, I don't hate going with Kevin. There's nights
yeah, you
that
heard
he
it here
works
first, folks. He hates Kevin.
late.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, Kelly hates Kevin.
I'm gonna have to hear this. Anyways, but I'll be able to go by myself soon, which is good. The other thing that happened is, remember I told you guys about the days at the range that I offered with the fundraiser?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll be able to take them by myself if I
That'll be
want to
cool.
go. Right. So instead of, I offered 2 of them, a ladies one, a ladies only one, and then I offered one for anybody, right? Well, there was a fight over the one for anybody, and basically I'm now offering 3 of them. So and we raised $350 from it too so it was awesome.
That's cool.
I thought it was good. Anyways, just thought I'd let you know that we raised $350, but now instead of taking 4 people to the range, I'm taking 6 at some point. They don't want to go during winter though. I don't know why. Anyways.
Because they're smart.
I know. The other thing that I did was set up a GoFundMe page. Do you guys want to discuss that now?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about it, so it's a great time.
Okay. So ask me about it.
No, you already started talking about it, so I don't have to ask you about it.
Okay. So next week is going to be a live show, and Trevor is going to shave his legs. Right, Trevor?
So,
Yes.
so I'm told. I don't see a stock yet.
Okay.
I need to see a receipt or some kind
Oh.
of proof that there's a stock. Like, you know.
Yes, you will.
There'll
Okay.
be video evidence first, right?
There'll be, yes. Okay, so Trevor's going to shave his leg on.
You heard that? Leg. She said leg.
Legs on a live show. But part of it is we set up a GoFundMe page because we're going to have people, our listeners, our viewers, if you're interested, donate to a cause. We're going to be giving. It's a place called Almost Home. They are kind of like Ronald McDonald House, where kids who are in hospital, their families get to go there so that they can spend some time with them. And over Christmas, it's a great idea to give them some presents and maybe some Christmas dinner and that as well. So,
Cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
Go
Kelly.
ahead.
No.
No, go.
No, go. No, wait. No, you go. No, you guys are being so Canadian right now.
Sorry.
One of you
Sorry.
go.
Dan,
Gosh.
Sorry.
No, I think it's absolutely awesome, and the GoFundMe makes it very accessible. Listeners, you all know what GoFundMe is. The links will be in the show.
Yep.
We set a goal of $200 that we would like to donate on your behalf. It's Christmas, damn it. Don't make me crazy.
Yeah.
Please pony up some cash. Where are we at, Kelly?
Oh, by the way, yeah. So I didn't know what to set. I said $200. That's a good.
It's good. Yeah.
That's good. So we're at halfway already.
No way.
We are.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. So the other thing that we need to do is we'll have to actually have a link for people to log on so they can watch Trevor shave his legs. And Adriel, when you come up with that, we'll send it out. So we'll post everything and let everybody know.
Yeah,
I don't know how
I'll
to
do
make
that
this
right now.
work.
Okay.
Are you going to get Christina to help you with this? Because I'm sure you probably haven't shaved your legs before, and you probably don't know how.
The more I bleed, the happier the listeners will be. So I'm not gonna
Happier I'll be.
No.
help. I envision some kind of tub at my feet with water and soap in it or something.
You're going to use a straight razor, right?
It's the only one I own.
Beauty.
It's rusty.
Christy?
I don't know what I'm gonna. I don't know how I'm gonna set up the cave here to do this, and I don't know how. I guess I'm gonna get a webcam. I'll hook a webcam into my computer and position it accordingly. I ain't gonna film the bathroom.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah, it'll go live, and I'll be in the tub. That'll be.
Hey, guys. Welcome to a
590.
special
Your
rated
tub.
show.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
big. Anyways.
Awesome. All right.
Great. Yeah. And other than that, by the calendar, but you'll hear that in our interview as well. So, and you'll hear what we're referring to when I mean calendar.
Right.
Anyways. All right. And on that note, Matthew, what did you do?
I have been doing reloading chores, basically. I ended up, I don't remember where it came from, so I maybe it was Bolivar, maybe it wasn't. Somebody gave me like a box of 5.56 ammo.
It
And
was
it's all-
Bolivar.
It was it?
Yep.
And it's all IVI brass, or vast majority of it is. It must have come from a service conditions pickup, cleanup range or something. I'm not sure. But apparently, all of the primer pockets are crimped. Is that what it's called, Trevor? Yeah, they're crimped. So here I am. Probably at least 100 cases I put through the cleaner, and I was trimming and I resizing and doing all this stuff. And then I'll throw some primers in. Crunch, crunch, crunch.
So, do you not have a swaging tool?
I do not.
Okay.
So
Well, trade me that. Bring me that brass, and I'll trade off for brass that doesn't have crimp pockets, or I'll swage it for you.
sure, well, yeah, whatever, no big deal. Anyway, I just wanted to complain that I did a whole bunch of
I wanted to complain about
brass.
the free brass. That
Yeah, I
got
wanted to
that
complain
I
about the
can't
free
use.
brass.
Thanks.
Well, I looked it up on the internet before I started using it. I looked up IVI brass, and I only read 2 or 3 reviews on it, but the reviews that I read were all positive, and none of the reviews mentioned having to swage the primer pockets. Otherwise, I would have been like, nope, that's not something I can do. So I just happy as a clam, going, oh, cool, these people seem to like this IVI stuff, so I'll start processing it. Oops. Oh well. Anyhow,
the other issue I've run into with IVI brass with the 2,000 rounds of 223 that I pulled was the primer pocket was not formed correctly, like it was struck from the inside or something, and there was a hump literally in there that had to be cut out in order to seat a primer flush
really?
inside the pocket. Yeah, so that requires another tool. That's the uniforming tool. And after a couple of hundred, I just started tossing them. I was like nuts to this. I
that's
don't
too much
care.
work.
Yeah, not when I
Yeah.
got so much brass, but anyway.
yeah, I don't have. Well, the rest of the brass that I could find in the house is a small Tupperware, like a sandwich Tupperware container full, is all I have left, and it's all cleaned now, and it's all full length resize, and I'm just going through trimming it and then deburring it, and then I'll be using that. But a lot of it's Winchester, so that's nice. But what I'm finding is, and I'm doing a bit of an experiment with this, the PAR has a fluted chamber. And so I'm not sure if that brass will be okay to use a second time. But I have a couple of pieces that I have fired, and I did full-length resize it, and I'm going to process it, and I'm going to shoot it, and I'm going to see what it looks like after the second time through the gun. And
well, here's the you don't have a case gauge, so it's either going to chamber or it won't.
So is that my only issue? Is that either it'll chamber or it won't? It's not like it's going to be dangerous or anything?
No.
Oh,
and
okay.
I think it's going to be 100% fine if I've looked at that brass that you fired in your PAR, and it's not like you can see the soot around the flutes showing you that it's a fluted chamber, but it doesn't come out swollen in a fluted pattern.
No, not. I mean, you can feel it. There's ridges, but it's not like huge, and it does go back in the gun. After I full length resize it, I just tossed it in the chamber, and it slid right into the gun, no problem.
No, you're laughing.
Oh, okay. So I can just reuse that stuff then.
Yep.
All right.
If it resizes and there's no signs of cracks, have at her.
Right. Okay. Cool. Well, that means I got a couple more pieces laying around here then that I'll be able to use as well. But yeah, I'm shooting the Savage Axis as a bolt gun. I didn't really stock up on brass because I only shoot that thing, maybe 100 times a year, maybe if I'm lucky. But I have a feeling with the PAR, I'm going to be going through a lot more 5.56 and 2.23 than previously. So I'm going to have to stock up on some brass and some more reloading components because the thing's just too much fun to shoot.
And I mean, you can Hornady makes a handheld primer pocket swaging tool that cuts out the crimp very, very easily, relatively quickly. You can actually take the tool apart and put the bit in the chuck of a drill. Start it by hand first, and then once you get it started and it starts to cut, quick zap of the drill, and you're good to go.
Cool. Well, that would let me process all this IVI stuff anyway. But yeah, that's basically all I did. I didn't do any shooting. I haven't shot since last time we were on the show because it's just been cold out and I've been busy with other things. But I was gonna say maybe this week, but it's gonna be minus 40 tomorrow, so. Not going to go outside if I can help it.
Minus 40 with the wind chill?
Yeah, with the wind chill.
Yeah,
going to be chilly, quite chilly.
Yep.
So
I was going to say it was extreme cold warning in effect for us.
Yes, yeah. A lot of the people at school were talking about is it going to be a day off of school tomorrow because of the extreme cold weather, but I don't think it's going to be cold enough. Minus 40 is the magic number, and it's going to be like minus 37. So,
yeah,
my experience, they don't call it unless it's actually legit minus 40. So, we'll be at school.
I've only seen it called on account of cold temperature like twice in my career.
Yeah,
and it was like minus 45 or something with the wind chill.
Yeah, tomorrow's not going to be that day. That's
people
okay.
People in Winnipeg are calling us pansies right now.
Yeah, well, I can imagine they're getting some pretty crazy weather over there. Yep. All right. Well, Trevor, I guess that brings us to you.
Alrighty, I'll keep it short and sweet because I didn't do much.
I love the laugh.
I did some work to the 930. I am now. I haven't shot it yet, but I'm liking it a lot more. I took the Mesa tactical stock off. That's pronounced Mesa, not Misa. And took the pistol grip stock off, put the original stock back on, and I also took off the barrel clamp off the front. I'm looking at all of the pro 3-gunners and really nice 3-gun setups, and none of them are running barrel clamps. And I've talked to some people, and that's because that barrel clamp can affect your point of aim, point of impact, and your shot pattern. So no more clamps for me. There's nothing ever going to hit the front of this gun that's going to break that magazine tube off of there. So I took it off my Versamax and I took it off my 930, see if it affects how they pattern. What else did I do? Oh, I figured out how to ghost load it. It doesn't ghost load like the Versamax at all. With the Versamax, you feed the tube, you pull back the bolt, you drop in your ghost load, you throw it in the chamber, you let your bolt go forward. With the 930, you do the opposite. You have to put one in the chamber, put one in the receiver, the ghost load itself, then push up the lifter and feed the tube, and then you're good to go. So it's just as quick now that I know how to do it correctly. It makes sense. The controls are a little different than the Remington, so it doesn't load like the Remington.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So what else did I do? I ordered some springs and a Titan hammer for my Stock 3 Extreme. So I've been complaining about the trigger that came in my Tanfoglio Stock 3 Extreme IPSC production gun. And I talked to Sean at Freedom Ventures, and he said you can put a 13-pound hammer spring in the gun. It comes with a 15. You can put in a 13, and you can put in a light firing pin spring, and you'll be good to go as long as you shoot federal primers. However, Tanfoglio made a new hammer called the Titan hammer. The geometry is a little different, and it's a lightweight hammer, so it travels faster and will reliably pop off all kinds of primers. So it is in fact true. The 13-pound Tanfoglio hammer spring and the Titan hammer have made this gun awesome. The double action trigger pull now is as good as it is as good as it could get. I'm very, very, very happy with it. The single action pull is good. It seems like it's actually shortened, which it's just perceived shortened the length of travel on the double action. I haven't actually installed the light firing pin spring yet, but the difference that this Titan hammer made, I tested it with Winchester primers, Cellar and Bellet primers, which are like two of the hardest primers there is. I've seen Cellar and Bellet primers wear out a Glock Striker. That's how hard those suckers are. I didn't have any Dominion on hand, but Dominion is also a really hard primer. Winchester, Cellar and Bellet, and CCI small rifle, and it popped them all, and I haven't even put in the light firing pin spring yet, so I have no concerns about this gun being reliable at all. I'm very, very happy with how it came out. Next, I got on to loading some 12 gauge. On the Reloading podcast, we had a guest on who works for MEC. MEC produces shotgun reloading presses, single stage, progressive presses, the whole 9 yards. They recently got into reloading equipment for metallic cartridges. Anyway, talking to him kind of inspired me to get my mech back out and start loading up some shotgun. So I did. I loaded up, 200, pretty heavy, number 6 shot, but 1.25 ounces. So normally you're running 1 ounce to 1 1/8 ounce. So this is 1.25 ounces. So I'm not sure what it's going to be like, but it'll certainly be good for hunting.
Because if
do you
1 ounce
reload slugs?
Not yet, Matthew.
I was going to say, because if 1 ounce is good, 1 1/4 is better.
Well, it's more payload, right? So,
Yep.
But then I dug up some data for what I really want to get into is I have active hulls. Now, they haven't been produced in years. They're an all plastic hull with a really large internal capacity. They're for some heavy stuff. Like you can load 1.25 ounces, 1 3/8 ounces inside these active hulls. First time I saw them was at a 3-gun match here in New Brunswick. One of the competitors was shooting them, and they feed so reliably. They're all plastic on the outside, so they don't get caught up in anything. And given the fact that my Versamax has proven to be a little picky depending on the type of shell that I use, I'm really looking forward of coming up with a good recipe that's suitable for 3-gun, and it's load them up for the Versamax for 3-gun. Pick them up every time and load them in as many times as I can until they finally start to fail. I have 300, so that should last me quite a few years, considering we shoot 1 to 2 3-gun matches a year. But in order to load them on the mech, I need to modify it slightly. I need to get a spacer, which I have on order for the priming system, and I need to actually drill out the size of my repriming punch to accommodate the slightly larger diameter of the active hull. So I've been picking up some shotgun powder. I picked up a pound of long shot. I picked up a pound of clays, and I picked up a pound of 800X. And the clays and the 800X is specifically for those active hulls. So I will keep you guys posted, but that's later on because those parts are on order. I also ordered
I'm just looking at these active hulls. They're all plastic.
All plastic.
Weird.
Pretty freaky looking, eh?
Yeah.
Now, my mech has the universal charge bar, which is adjustable. Normally, a mech charge bar has bushings that go in the charge bar, and if you want this much shot, use this bushing, and if you want this much powder, use this bushing, and there's these complicated charts if you're going to use this powder, and you want this many grains, then you need to use this bushing. Well, this many grains of this powder requires a different bushing, and that's like whatever. So the universal charge bar is actually made in Canada. I didn't realize it wasn't a MEC product until we interviewed that guy last week, and it has dials on the side that you can adjust, just like the powder measure, like a regular powder measure, whether it be a benchtop one for loading rifle or like on your Dillon. So super convenient. But I noticed that when I looked at their website to try and get some information about it, there's this powder baffle that's a device that sits between the powder bar and the bottle that actually holds the gunpowder. And my mech is very old. Matthew will tell you, we picked up this stuff and it had been sitting for a lot of years and hadn't been used probably since the 90s, and some stuff was rusted. And anyway, that powder baffle wasn't there, and I didn't even know I was missing it. But sometimes the powder bar is a little hard to move back and forth. So I ordered that baffle from Brownells. I also ordered a competition shell lifter for my Versamax from Brownells, and the shell latch that has the bolt release built into it on my Versamax broke. So I ordered the one out of the tactical version of the Versamax because it is already pre-threaded. I won't have to drill and tap it like mine had been, which is maybe what caused it to break. So I got an order of Brownell stuff coming in. So I'm watching the tracking numbers every day. And then finally, it's with a heavy heart that I announced that I have sold my FNS 9L. So this is my two-tone stainless, the 5-inch. Now, I'm still loyal to FN. I still have my 4-inch, 4.2, that I will use in training classes that I teach or attend, and I'll probably use that as my 3-gun pistol. But when I shot the 3-gun match in Halifax, I was like, I'm shooting classic. My classic gun works fine as a 3-gun pistol. My Tanfoglio, it's double action, single action, so not so much. But I think the appeal of using the FN in a 3-gun match was, if it's an outlaw match, I can use my 17-round mags. But they've proven to not be 100% reliable. If you drop them, they lock up. So, but if you drop it, who cares? You're done with it anyway. Put another 17-rounder in and go. Mm-hmm. But I still have the 4-inch that I can use in 3-gun. So, but I got to tell you, I'm already filled with regret. You heard of buyer's remorse? This is seller's remorse. But I don't think I'm going to replace it with another one. I think I will finally get a 5-inch Walther PPQ, and I'll have the 4-inch FN and the 5-inch Walther. And then,
Another polymer striker-fired gun? Weird.
I know.
Huh.
And then I need the CZ striker-fired gun, and David Copping is going to send me out the Q100 by Grand Power, so who knows, maybe I'll like that one too. We shall see. All right, that was it for me. What? All right, you stuck me at the end.
What did you do, Adriel? Oh wait, you did that. Kelly, no, you did it too, huh?
We're done.
All right, well, upcoming events then. The 7th Annual Canadian Podcasters Charity Shoot, Saturday, July 8th. You should put that on your calendar. It's going to be fun. It's going to be at the Guelph Rod and Gun Club. It is confirmed,
Whee!
And that is obviously in Guelph, not so obviously Ontario. So that's going to be cool. You guys should go to that. The Canadian Patriot Podcast is this year's host, and the charity of choice is Many to One. So you guys can go check that out. And, it's a good charity, and it's a good way to get out, meet some friends, and shoot some guns. So definitely, if you can make it out, we hope to see you out there. The Got Your Six charity shoot is the 2nd Annual Precision Rifle Competition. It's July 22nd and 23rd. In Edson, Alberta, and the funds raised are going to the Warhorse Awareness Foundation. You can go to gotyoursixshoot.com for more info there. And Trevor, why don't you bring us this next one, because apparently you have some sort of vested interest in it, whatever, I don't know.
I guess it's the thing. SummerSlam 11, Restigouche Gun Club in Balmoral, New Brunswick, level 3, 16
because
stages.
It goes up to 11.
This one will go to 11. Yeah, I don't know if we'll have one go to 12, but this one is going to 11. Things are well underway. There are 16 stages, and I have about 12 designed so far. Oh, nice. You're gonna love the bus. You're gonna love the bus this year, man. The bus is different. We're doing
I always
something
like the bus.
Well, now you're starting at the back of the bus outside.
Nice.
You're going to engage some targets and then retreat back, shooting targets on the left, enter the bus, and then shoot the bad guys outside the bus on the right. So it's
sounds like fun.
Yeah, you'll have some stand and deliver speed stuff at the back, some backing up while shooting on the left, and then some memory stage stuff on the right. So it's combining a couple of different things all in one stage. Approximately 300 rounds. We're going to have 140 competitors, 14 squads, 10 per squad. We'll see how that works out. Registration night will be on August 4th. We're changing that as well. We're not downtown at the marina this time. We're going to move to the cottages and brew pub. We're going to hold the registration at a brew pub because
beer.
Yeah. So we're going to move it to Charlotte, where the Heron's Nest cottages are. Many competitors rent those cottages. The Ontario crew pretty much, like, if they know the date, they'll book it for next year as they check out. That's how long they've been going there. Smoke on the Water will be doing the range food. Probably going to do the banquet as well. The banquet will be Saturday night, the 5th, of course. And cost for competitors is $160, $150 if you pay by EMT. Registration opens on January 9th, so the registration forms will be available on our website at that time. And that's all I have to say about that.
Cool. All right. Well, I guess that brings us into the news. And this first one, who stuck this one in here?
I did.
Well, congratulations.
But I don't want to read it all. You can.
All right, I'll kind of give you the gist of it here. So I don't know how to say the name of the town.
Longueuil.
So that town, that the police there.
Longueuil is just outside of Montreal.
So a long guy.
Yeah, long guy.
Longueuil.
I'm not French.
Well, neither am I.
I just.
All right.
So
Long guy, I think.
So just outside of Montreal.
Yeah, just go with just outside of Montreal.
So just outside of Montreal, police seize a massive arsenal from a suburban home. So the police have arrested one man in what they call the biggest weapon seizure in recent memory, all as the result of a fender bender. Ooh, that sucks.
I didn't know that.
Police are trying to determine how and why Hugo managed to gather over 50 firearms inside his home, including restricted assault rifles. The incident began last week on the South Shore when Bernard left the scene of a collision before the report was completed. Several days later, the police went to his house to finish the report and, as a precaution, checked the firearms registry beforehand. So we should pause here for a minute and remind people that Quebec does still have a firearms registry.
Well, everyone still has a registry.
Sorry, right. Long gun. Yeah.
Does it say long gun on there?
It doesn't, but... Oh, okay. No, never mind. Maybe that is. I'm slightly confused. I'm just going to carry on as if none of that happened. So
it happened. It happened. No, they made a point.
Hold on though. Does Quebec still have their long gun registry?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't. I thought they still did, but I didn't want to say that just in case I was wrong. Maybe I just missed the news that they had finally dismantled it, but I guess not. So
they can still run anybody's name to see if they have a firearms license, right?
Yes, and we do still have the restricted registry.
Yeah. So the point of this is Quebecers do it.
They do it, apparently.
They're going to this guy's house
and they actually checked the firearms registry, and it showed that he had many legally registered handguns, and so during their visit, the police searched their home in order to make sure that they were properly secured and present.
Now this is crazy. They went to his house because of a fender bender.
Yep. They discovered that he had guns on the way and thought, let's inspect.
Yeah, we're here to take a report about an accident. Oh, but now we're also here to inspect your home because we know you have guns.
But
they should not have been allowed to come in and do this.
No, I don't think they are.
Well, maybe he
public
invited
safety
them
search. I know, but Adriel, they could just simply say public safety search, and because they can throw that line out there, it negates the need for a search warrant for the guns.
Because I'm pretty sure, at least here in New Brunswick anyway, if the CFO wants to inspect my firearms collection, they give us a heads up. They notify us before they come.
Yep.
So I don't think, so this wasn't like just a firearms check. It was, like Trevor said, a public safety check.
Yeah, we're here to finish this report. We know you have guns. For our safety and yours, we would like to ensure they're all secure.
Right.
Yep.
And I would say you may rest assured that they are, and you're not going to check. And if you don't feel comfortable,
the rest of this report out in the backyard.
Do it in the backyard, or I'll come down to the station. You don't need to come into my house.
But
they will. And
bad.
they'll say too bad because they're the cops and they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Public safety search.
Yep. So the moral of the story is here: don't get into car accidents, and if you do, don't drive away. Do the report before the police
and if you
get
do
there.
that, don't have a bunch of illegal magazines at home.
Don't have AK-47s.
Yeah, well, let's read this list. So, to their surprise, they found dozens of weapons, including 31 handguns, 14 long guns, 11 prohibited weapons, 3 AR-15 rifles, which I don't know why they listed that. That just goes under long guns, if you ask me. A sizable amount of ammunition, and illegally modified magazines. All the weapons and ammo were seized by police. So, sounds like he had some regular AR mags, perhaps. I'm speculating here, and just pulled the pins on them.
Have you seen the pictures?
No.
No.
He had AG-42s. He had AK-47s.
Oh.
I mean, he had lots of SKSs, both in the original configuration and TAPCO configuration. I actually didn't notice very many AR-15s in the photos, but there was lots of SKSs.
Maybe the reporter looked at it and said, "Oh, assault style rifle must be an AR-15."
No, there were AR-15s in the photos, and there was cases of ammo, a case of ammo cans, and one of the ammo cans was filled with ammo on a belt, so he had something belt fed. I'm assuming he had something. I mean, why have a belt if you don't have a belt fed? And he did have 2 machine guns that were like AG-42s.
Yeah.
I'm no expert, but they were that style of firearm. So he had some stuff.
He did. Yeah.
How do you even get that stuff?
Illegally across the border, maybe?
I don't know. Well, some of it's been in
Could have
Canada
been over
forever.
like decades too. Some of those old guys who've been collecting guns for a long time have like all this super old stuff, and maybe just didn't want to register and get his prohib license when they did the rollover.
Oh, maybe. Anyway, yeah, so they arrested him, and he's got a whole bunch of charges. There was a quote from... so proponents of gun control say the amount of weapons seized show there's something wrong with the law if a man with a criminal record can still buy restricted guns in large quantities. We've seen an erosion of gun control over the last 10 years right across the country, said Wendy Sukier of the Coalition for Gun Control. There's case after case of people who shouldn't have access to guns having not one, but many guns. So, I don't know if we've seen...
Are you sure you said her name correctly? I thought it was Wendy Kukier.
It could also be Kukier. I'm not a Scientologist. I don't know.
Quite sure it's Kukier. Go down, Matthew, to the part Bernard has several previous convictions.
Yeah, he does of drug and weapons related offenses going back to the 90s. So yeah, he probably shouldn't have his firearms license.
Yeah. How does he? A sticker on his door said he protected his home with an AR-15, though his neighbor Maryland.
That's just dumb to do. It's not illegal to have a sticker though. So
it's not. But they'll say it shows intent.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, it's dumb to do, but it's not illegal.
So how was this guy able to maintain his license with?
I don't know.
Drug-related offenses going back to the 90s, drug and
90s
weapons.
are a long time ago. Like if it,
maybe if he had like
maybe
a 5-year if he had a 5-year weapons prohibition, then it would have been lifted by then.
Right.
Yeah.
So
and if it was like a
now
possession of pot or something like that, and he got whatever thing.
There's 2 ways to interpret this statement. One, that the offenses happened in the 90s, and the other one, the way I interpret it, is several previous convictions for drug and weapons offenses related offenses going back to the 90s. So it sounds to me like his convictions have been ongoing since the 90s.
That's the way it's written, but I also know how reporters write, and it seems more likely to me that it's probably he had a couple of charges back in the 90s, and they wrote it that way to be more sensational.
Yep.
Or he's had
because
so
if
many
he
charges
did,
that he's just short of 2,000.
Maybe.
Way to wrap it up. Nicely done. All right. So the lesson here is don't have illegal stuff and don't leave the scene of an accident.
There you go.
Or if you leave the scene of the accident, get your AKs out of the house.
That's right. The cops are coming. All right. Canada Ammo is producing new AR-180B lowers from aluminium. So that's cool. Who popped that in there? Who has more info on that?
Well, yeah, I just saw it on CGN. They're machining some new AR-180B lowers. So I mean, if you had one of the original AR-180Bs, they've got like this polymer lower, which is I don't know, it's kind of cheap, and that's what the AR-180B was supposed to be. Was a more inexpensively manufactured version of the AR-15. It was a lot more stamped steel, almost like an AK version of an AR, right? With all the stamped steel and polymer and that kind of thing. But these days, like it's real cheap to CNC something out of aluminums, and it's more durable. So Canada Ammo is going to start making some of these things.
So
And the interesting things for Canadians is that AR 180Bs are non-restricted.
Well,
so,
it's AR 180B-2s.
yes.
So-
The Dash 2 is...
The non-restricted version.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else they put on it. The Dash 2 had a different barrel or a pinned comp on it or something.
Something like that, but
Why
just the
didn't-
straight 180B is still a prohibited, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't
Ed-
just finish your thoughts, and then I have a comment. Sorry.
The 180
excited.
is
Yeah,
restricted or
I know that the
prohibited.
180 is prohibited for sure.
Yeah.
But the 180B, I thought, maybe the 180B is restricted and the 180B-2 is non-restricted. Perhaps
Unrestricted?
that's what it is.
Maybe.
I'm thinking they left the 2 off. This has got to be intended for those people that have the
Of course.
non-restricted one.
I
but
would think so.
The market's not there. People who buy AR 180Bs don't care about upgrading with aluminum. But anyway, what they really should have done was get Pierce Industries or Pierce Armory to 3D print one, and it could be white plastic and $800. That's what I would have done anyway.
I would like to see a resurgence of the 180B back in Canada.
There's going to be, because they're not the only company that's doing this right now. There's a couple of different companies making lowers and making parts to keep these things going in Canada.
I've always wanted one because it's AR-15-esque and it's non-restricted.
And the takedown on them is sweet. Like
Yeah.
it's got this little plate at the back. You stick a bullet in it and it pops it out, and then you clean it out. It's got the stock doesn't have anything that telescopes into it, so you can get a folding stock for them.
Yeah, isn't the recoil spring like up over top of the gas tube or something?
It's got a dual recoil spring over the top. I owned one for a while. It's a sweet little gun. It's not like modern. When they produced it after the AR-15, and since then the AR-15's got some upgrades. Now we mostly have flat top uppers and not carry handles and that kind of thing. Whereas that AR-180B, it had provisions for a top rail.
Surely this new upper comes with a Picatinny rail on top.
If people make new uppers, they're going to do a pick rail on top.
Right.
It's so I don't know. It's kind of interesting. And then wasn't there a bullpup that's based off of the AR 180B that people were working on as well?
Oh, that'd be
Or
interesting.
am I thinking of the AR 17?
I'm not sure. Not sure at all. But if you could get some decent accuracy out of the 180B, that'd be it. What do you remember how it shot?
Oh, it was. Let me think. Now I'd have to go back to my article and take a look.
Oh, okay. I'm just curious. I mean, if it's minted a Coyote, that'd be a cool Coyote gun too, semi-auto.
Yeah,
How many-
M17. The M17 is the one I'm thinking of. That's the bullpup.
With the bullpup version, right?
Yeah.
How many of these are in the wild? I've never laid my hands on one in person. I don't see them come for sale very often. Is there a market to be making parts for these guns?
I know that
Absolutely, because how many other non-restricted semi-automatic 223s do you have that are rightfully around the $1,000 mark that are good?
One, two. You got the VZ58 and the T97.
Yeah, but neither of those are gonna. I don't think you're gonna get the accuracy that you would want out of them. I think the AR 180 produces better accuracy than both those two.
Oh, I will take that challenge.
It's more of an AR usability on it as well. You've got your straight drop mags and that kind of thing.
They're only $1,000 when you find one of these 180Bs.
No, and I bought mine for $1,000. That was a year or two ago, and they have gone up in price.
Yeah, that's supply and demand, right? There just aren't very many of them, and
so you take those ones that are in existence out there. People are making new lowers, people are making new parts, and that kind of thing. And all of a sudden, we're going to have more of these things out there.
But how can we have more of them out there? They're not being made anymore.
Well,
we're making lowers right now.
Yeah, they're making them.
Yeah.
Okay, but can I buy an upper and a lower parts kit?
As he wanders away from his microphone and we can't hear him.
Yeah, let my cat out. Let's see.
So while you guys were chatting,
trigger was terrible on mine.
Yeah.
I understand making parts for guns that are readily available and modern and that are on the market right now for sale new, but I just don't see this.
Well, we'll see. It's a simple to create rifle because it's bent steel, right? It's not a complicated upper on it.
Just okay, the upper too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the upper is folded steel, just like an AK, right?
Yeah, it's stamped.
Yeah,
stamped lower. Or the upper stamped.
Yeah, the upper stamped. The lower. I mean, if Canada Ammo starts making some aluminum ones, and then whatever we do for the upper, if we do some of those stamp deals.
That still doesn't create an availability of the initial platform to add these parts to.
No, but
it's a gun that hasn't been manufactured in decades.
Sure.
There's only a number of. There's only so many of them out here in Canada, so it's going to be a small market.
And that means the lowers are going to be expensive then.
Sadly, yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what happens with it. I'm interested to see if enough places start making parts for them. If I don't know, it starts to become more of a thing here in Canada. It would be nice to have more non-restricted semi-automatic 223s, though.
Absolutely, I'm all over this. I mean, anytime they're going to improve one that's already out there, or start making it more available. I mean, that's not the case here. There's still only a finite number of them. But if they start maybe not producing them, but coming up with a solution for the upper and barrel attachment and stuff. I'm all over more 223 semi-auto rifles in Canada that are non-restricted.
Right, but we're not getting more. We're not.
I know. I'm just saying they're just working on it. I mean, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to SFRC, my favorite
great
store?
Discussion.
Yeah, absolutely it is. It made sense to do the flat top upper for the T97 because it's still being manufactured, right? You guys are talking about this like it's going to suddenly make this rifle more available, and in reality, they're making new parts for an old rifle that there are a limited number of out there. And I think, Matthew, you nailed it when you said these parts are going to be expensive because the people who do want this rifle, who do want to revitalize it and bring it up to modern standards, they're going to get hosed.
Possibly. Time will tell, though.
It's like buying newly manufactured parts for your antique muscle car. They're not making Mustangs anymore, but the people who are buying newly manufactured fenders and doors,
but I think
windows,
what you'll find is that the people who do own these AR-180Bs are fanatics for them, and they are like the muscle car owners, and they want to upgrade them, and they want them to be better, but they don't have any parts, and so maybe because they're so fanatic over these guns, this is a good thing for them to actually be able to get the parts they want now.
It's a bad thing for us because we didn't come up with the idea. So, all right. That's my final thought.
All right. What else was there? They're also bringing in some white label brand gunpowder. This is
Canada Ammo.
Yeah.
They're bringing in some of their own branded gunpowder. It's like pretty cheap, $26 a pound, sold in 5-pound jugs. That's cheaper than anything I've seen recently.
Whoa.
I don't know.
Okay, $26 a pound.
Yes.
But you buy 5 pounds. That's good. You buy 5 pounds and it works out $26 a pound. That's fantastic. Now, IMR 4198, I don't know anything about, but I'm sure it's obviously a rifle powder. Yep. 800X is a shotgun powder that I just bought a pound of. So, I mean, I could be loading shotgun for a lot less at $26 a pound.
Yep.
There are other powders out there that are kind of generic knockoffs of other powders, and as long as you know what load data to copy for it, it's a great thing. I know there's one guy in my club who was saying, yeah, I've got this generic powder and I don't know how much to use, and he's loading it in 40 Smith & Wesson. Yeah, and like...
You don't use generic powder. I mean, if you don't know what it is, you don't use it. You use it to play with in the backyard with the bonfire or something. You don't start sticking it in cartridges and putting it through your gun. You're making little mini pipe bombs if you don't know what you're working with. That's just dangerous.
And a 40 being a high-pressure load, like a difference between a half a grain can all of a sudden be the difference in, making power factor and making kaboom.
Yeah.
You can't
That's just silliness.
Yep.
All right. SFRC is now the exclusive distributor of NEA in Canada, and they put lowers on sale for $100 to celebrate. So if you want to lower, they're probably
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, this is about a week old, so I wonder if they have any left. Probably
I'm
not.
sure they're gone.
Yeah, so.
All right. WAN stalls. That's how you say that, right?
Nope.
Is bringing in a new pistol training product called the Mantis X. So it's I didn't even look at it. Who put that in? What is this thing?
I did. It's a little sensor that you put on your pick rail on the bottom of your dust cover there on your pistol, and it's watching for a couple of different things. One of the things that I saw that it was looking for is you're flinching. So
is this for when you're dry firing or when you're actually live firing?
I think both. The video I was watching there was showing live fire, and it was showing the dip in the muzzle just before it went off, kind of a thing.
Okay,
which
cool.
is that's kind of hard to see unless
really
you're like
is.
watching really closely, or you got like a slow motion camera or something like that.
Or you just look at your bullet impacts on the target.
That too.
And that doesn't cost you nothing. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
You're grouping low left to your right-handed shooter. You're dipping your muzzle. And that will cost you nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, actually, it'll cost them $200 for a fun-filled day of Trevor and Matthew training.
That's true. That's true.
Shooting their
And
gun
we don't
showing
require
that-
batteries.
Well, yet.
Yet.
Yeah.
My pacemaker eventually will.
Yeah. Anyways, this thing it also connects with an app. It's got a bunch of different stats on it. So I haven't taken a full look at all the stuff it does, but it's a new product here in the country. So I thought
That's cool.
I thought it was worth mentioning.
Sure. And this last one here is Apex is moving to California.
No, from California.
Out
to
of.
Arizona.
Oh, moving out of California.
Yeah, no one
yeah.
moves to California.
I was going to say that seems weird. I was like, well, obviously it's newsworthy. Anytime a firearms company goes to California, there's got to be something going on. But okay, so
yeah.
they're
So-
leaving, so it's not really newsworthy because they're all
Well,
leaving.
So
And I was
who's
thinking about it, and
who is Apex? What do they do?
Apex? They're primarily known for making triggers and
Oh,
parts.
Apex.
Yeah, for the M&P pistols.
That Apex, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they were in California. Good for them.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about it. I'm like, oh, well, if they're outside of California, they can't use it as a negotiating chip. But when you think about it, they don't care. Like, the
Yeah.
California government does not care, even if they use it as a negotiating chip. So like, it's going to happen whether you want it or not. So you might as well just move out, right?
If Colorado was foolish enough to lose Magpul, California doesn't care.
Yeah. It's like this is good business heading out the door, and they'll move to a state where their job creation is appreciated. So
Yep.
yeah.
Cool.
Alrighty.
All right then. I guess we'll move into our main topic.
All right, joining us this week, we have two very special guests. We have Rod Giltaca and Tracy Wilson. Rod being the president of the Canadian Coalition for Firearms Rights, and Tracy Wilson, the chair of the board for the Canadian Coalition for Firearms Rights. And two personal friends of mine. It's good to talk to you guys again. Welcome back to Slamfire.
Thanks for having us on the show, Trev.
Awesome. So why don't we start with ladies first? Tracy, what's new? What have you been up to? You buy any guns lately? If you own that 338 Lapua, I will marry you right now. What's new and exciting in your life?
Well, lucky for you, I have no intention of ever getting married. So no, the Lapua is not mine. It belongs to Greg Weiss. He's one of our field officers out here in Ottawa. And he brought that beauty of a gun out to the range and let me play with that for the Vice Media piece, which was great. Other than that, I've been busy promoting this CCFR Gunny Girl calendar.
Yeah.
I'm sure Kelly's been talking about it on the show quite a bit. So it's an effort to raise some funds for the Women's Programming Initiative. And I've been doing a little promo on our Facebook group. If you're not a member, join up. And showing, just a little sneak peek of each girl with a quick bio, just a little teaser. So if you want to see them with their guns, you're going to have to buy the calendar. But just giving guys a little sneak peek, giving the members, everybody, a little sneak peek of what they can expect in there. So I've been doing that. I've also been roaming the streets of Ottawa and down at the House of Commons, meeting with different MPs. These are the candidates for the CPC leadership race that's coming up in May. So they're all campaigning really hard. And I attended the leadership conference that was here in Ottawa. I got to ask them a couple questions. CBC covered it, so that was pretty cool. And kind of made friends with a few of them. So it's given me some opportunity to go down, address our, issues and ask the tough questions that Canadian firearms owners are asking. And it's been pretty successful. I got 2 of them done yesterday. So I'm going to be forming some sort of CCFR report card just to kind of give a across the board look at the candidates, and conservative gun owners can make their decisions from there.
So it sounds it's just another way that CCFR is kind of getting their foot in the door in Ottawa. That's what I'm hearing here. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are a nonpartisan group, so we don't necessarily promote any certain party or any candidate in particular.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, just because we're nonpartisan doesn't mean we're non-political, right? There is a certain amount of politics involved in gun law. So
certainly,
yeah, it's to our benefit to at least go out and make sure that our concerns are heard by the candidates, and that they know that we're watching.
Awesome,
So,
very
yeah.
well said. We can be nonpartisan and still remain politically active. That's super important, and I'm not sure if a lot of people realize that about the CCFR. So thank you for bringing that up.
Absolutely.
Mr. Giltaka, sir.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
Good. You've cost me some money. Well, you will cost me money in the future. I want you to know that since my visit out there, when I was able to fondle your XCRL in 7.62 by 39, I haven't stopped talking about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm
cool.
I'm very taken with the newest model. Only I'm going to spring for the 300 blackout. But anyway, somebody accused me of making everything about me, and it looks like I just did that. I apologize. This is about you. What's new with you, and what have you been up to, and anything to add to the CCFR that maybe Tracy didn't cover?
Well, I can tell you what I've been up to. Actually, you know what? I'll mention one more thing that Tracy's been up to that she didn't mention is she's been up to running the CCFR. So it's probably a good opportunity. Oh, yeah. It's a good opportunity to say from me to everybody, that without Tracy, there is no CCFR. She does everything. So anyway, big thank you to Tracy.
I would concur with that. The behind the scenes getting things done that people don't even know is going on. That's what Tracy's up to.
Yeah, things that nobody knew had to get done. Oh,
yeah, definitely. So what about you then, Rod?
Well, personally, I've just been doing the Canadian Firearm Safety courses. This is a slow month. I only taught 2 courses this month, so that's 25 additional licensed gun owners circulating around. Usually per month, I would run through around 45 people. So it's we're keeping them coming. And as far as the CCFR is concerned, I've been involved in a new project with the CCFR, which is creating these explainer videos. So we sent out a newsletter, and it was our first newsletter ever. So if you got one, you knew that because I put that in there, and you probably hadn't previously received one. It's something we should have done a long time ago, but a long
time ago. Yeah, because we've been around forever. And
But still, right? I mean, we've done a tremendous amount of stuff in the 1 year that we've been around, but still,
exactly.
We finally got around to getting that newsletter out.
Yeah, it's here now.
Yeah, it's here now. So, but one of the things I did explain was what I actually wanted those essays. I sent this call out for essays on the firearm forums and on Facebook and stuff, and I was gathering points for different topics. And what all of that was to create explainer videos. So just in case people don't know what an explainer video is you've seen them on YouTube or you've seen them on TV. Basically, you have someone that's the host of it or whatever, the broadcaster, announcer, standing in front of a green screen, and you're educating them in some topic with animated graphics and facts and figures and dynamic graphs and pictures and stuff like that going at the same time. So the latest thought was that we should produce, again, the first time ever, produce explainer videos on some very important firearms related topics. So the first one that's coming out is going to be on the 1022 issue, even though it's an individual issue. So, that video might not be relevant 4 years from now. It's still a real problem, the 1022 issue. So we got that coming out, and we're also going to be doing another somewhere from 6 to 8 more of them, probably by March. They'll all be out. So it'll be a very interesting thing. They're going to be very shareable. They're going to be very short, to the point, but they're excellent educational tools that you can send to somebody, to your non-gun owning friends or whatever. It'll hold your attention. It'll teach you something foundational about firearms ownership, like magazine capacities or what have you, or is there a gun problem in Canada, that kind of stuff. So I'm really excited about that. It's been a lot of work. So that's what I've been up to at the CCFR.
Excellent. Well, I'm sure the listeners are certainly looking forward to having those released. And as you said, what's really cool about it is you can share them. And like the video, my Facebook is kind of locked down more or less. But when it came to sharing the documentary we're about to discuss, that's something I made a point of sharing publicly. When you select your settings and who gets to view what you post to your Facebook wall, I flicked that one intentionally to public because I've got a fair amount of non-gun owning friends on my wall, and I tagged it with, "Hey, if you're curious about firearms in Canada or how to get licensing," so the fact that you're producing those videos, I think, will definitely be useful.
Yeah, so. I think so, and it's I will stress, right? It's something like this has never been done. And that in itself is, as we've said all along, that is the reason for the CCFR, is doing things that we've never tried before and never done before, and things that, in our opinion, as a group, needed to be done. So, but all that political stuff is important. But I bought a new gun.
Oh, okay, good. What'd you get? Everybody suddenly perked up.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's waking up from their quick little
blah,
slumber.
blah, blah, CCFR education, blah, blah. Bought a new gun.
Yeah, Rod's going to talk. I can probably get 5 minutes in, 8 minutes of sleep. But I got a GSG 15 hot off the press.
A GSG 15. Okay, so this is the same company.
We were just talking about those in last week or the week before. Those are like brand new to Canada, right?
Yeah. Yep. Okay. I got one, and I got a GSG 15 and 7 magazines. So I'm I'm not. I know that Matthew is the resident 22 enthusiast. I'm not that big into 22s, but it looked like a really cool gun. It's as close to an AR as you can get that's non-restricted in a 22 format. And I'm going to take that thing out. I'm going to run and gun with that thing and do a review and stuff. So I'm kind of excited about it.
That sounds like fun. You should send it to me when you're done.
Yeah, that's definitely something I won't do.
Oh, come on.
So it's kind of like the M&P 22, but this one's going to be non-restricted.
Right, and it's GSG's done a reasonably good job of not, I don't want to beat up on Mossberg, but that 715T was just such a
junk.
It's just a pile of garbage, with all due respect to anybody that owns one. It's just like it's a toy, right?
It's a Plinkster wrapped in plastic, and everything feels cheap and airsoft.
Yeah. So this one's better,
I was going to say, how is this one different?
Well, this one, all the controls are laid out like a SCAR / AR-15, and the magazines are in the same form factor, 22 rounds, by the way, and they don't make a pistol, thank goodness. For now, but the magazines themselves are in the same form factor, very, very close to an AR-15, which allows you to fill these magazines up with your 22 rounds and put them in your magazine pouches and have some of that inexpensive AR platform type training that I've been looking for, but couldn't. It's hard to do that with a Ruger 1022 because the magazines don't come out the same way and they don't fit in your pouches and all the rest of that stuff. So yeah, it's kind of neat.
Interesting. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing your review of it. I haven't been into these yet, but maybe this is the one. What I've been doing is just sticking the 22 conversion kit in the AR and doing that. But that kit's almost the price of a gun, right?
Well, and you can't take it out to the bush, and I've been doing as much training out in the forest as I possibly can these days. That's what I'm really into right now. So
yeah, and then because the range isn't. Maybe you don't want to join a range. Matthew he didn't have a restricted rifle forever because if his rifles couldn't go hunting, he didn't really have a point for them. But then when we started to get into 3-gun and stuff, and let's be honest, the listeners built the rifle for him. So I think that was finally the deciding factor.
That was basically it. You give me something and I guess I'll take it. Whatever.
Yes. So gracious.
Yeah, but you do a lot of shooting in the woods. We see that in your videos, and so this is an inexpensive way to get out in the bush. And especially if the mags fit in the same pouches and everything. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of neat.
Yeah. So let's move into the reason for our having both of you on the show tonight, and that is to discuss a documentary that just hit the webs today. Was it today, this morning, or yesterday?
Yesterday.
So it just hit the internet yesterday, and both of you were featured in this documentary. It was done by Vibe, and the title of the documentary is Armed and Responsible. So either one of you, doesn't matter, Tracy or Rod, jump in and tell us what your role was throughout this documentary.
Why don't you go ahead, Tracy, and tell them about the Vice documentary?
Ladies
I call it?
First.
Vibe.
Okay, so
Oh, my bad.
oh boy.
That's cool.
So Vice contacted us last summer, and they wanted to get together and work on this documentary. We had a few reservations about it, but after spending some time talking to Nick Wilson and realizing that other people in our community were getting involved, and we kind of took it as an opportunity to help promote shooting, the shooting sports, and just help reinforce this positive outlook that we want people to have on our sport and our community. So what we did was we did a 2-part day with them, which you don't really get to see a lot of it on there. I understand, there's a lot of editing, but I think a lot of the really good stuff was cut out, but that's okay. Rod and I got our suits on, and we went down and did a really good sit-down interview with Parliament Hill as our backdrop, and discussed some Canadian gun laws and some misconceptions, and did our kind of our verbal interview that way. And then the premise of the documentary, I'll give you just a quick backgrounder on this, was the journalist. It was a young girl from Toronto. She was going to go through the journey of becoming a firearms owner. So it went straight from the beginning, when she made the decision and took her Canadian firearms safety course, through that experience. Then she wrote her exam, sent away her paperwork. 7 weeks later, she got her PAL in the mail, bought her first gun. And then what she did was she went around to different members of our community and tried some of the different genres of sport. So the entire premise of this documentary was meant to keep really light. It was just, just to see what are we doing? What is the big deal? What is the attraction? So we were down the list a little bit as far as placement, just because geographically where we are. So Rod was in Ottawa for the AGM last year. So it was a good opportunity for us to hook up. We went down to Parliament Hill. We did the interview with the nice backdrop. Then we took her out to the range. We went to the Eastern Ontario Shooting Club, which has always been great supporters of the CCFR. And we did some long range shooting with her. And we got her on the big Lapua 338. And it's a big gun. It's what she asked for. So we went for it. I mean, we did have other options there, but we kind of wanted, the producer really wanted her to experience kind of,
the beast.
The beast. That's what I've been calling it. So
it truly
yeah,
is.
so that's what we did. I mean, I think it was more just centered around just a kind of a promotional documentary rather than, scientific data driven type stuff.
Oh, that makes sense. Because I had listened to a little bit of it, and I saw that she was saying, I didn't really like the rifle. It was really loud. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, it's not that bad. But if it was a 338 Lapua, I guess that
with a comp, the only safe place to be is behind it. Yeah. So
absolutely, I love it. In the opening of that documentary, they show a cool overhead shot of me shooting it. You just see my ponytail flipping around.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love it.
Okay, so Rod, then Tracy gave us the background on your role. What's your opinion of it? How do you think it's being received? How did you receive it? You went into it with some reservations, rightfully so, because oftentimes these things can be a bait and switch. They tell you one thing and then they bastardize it in the editing room. So what's your opinion of the final product, and how do you think it's being received?
I think it's being received really well, and I think it accomplished what the director set out to do. So the guy that produced it, as Tracy mentioned, Nick Wilson, no relation, as far as I know.
No, none.
But I think what he did was he created a very accurate portrayal of Canada's gun culture. And what was kind of unique about Nick was he was, in my opinion, actually quite courageous, because he's over at Vice, which is very left leaning. They have an ideology there. And the safe thing he could have done, he could have played it safe and just did some anti-gun hit piece, and it would have been well received and well supported at Vice, but he didn't. He actually spent enough time and put in enough effort, took long enough, but because of all this effort, and really revealed who Canadian gun owners are, which are good people. It's your neighbor next door and highly scrutinized, highly law-abiding, typically good moral compass, and people that just really love firearms and everything and all the different sports associated with them. And it's very rare that you get a documentary that is able to focus on that, not focus on data and whatever, which people are desensitized to, unfortunately, and just show us for who we are. So I think it was really well done from that perspective.
Yeah, you can only lay out the numbers so much. People are intimidated by numbers. They have a lack of understanding of how that data is collected. They don't know how to interpret it. So those types of things obviously aren't for everyone. And I agree with you. I think it is what it is, and I think it did achieve its goal. They set out to show what it's really like. There have been I've been reading comments everywhere that it's posted, and I'm seeing a bit of disappointment with the anti-American sentiment. I'm not sure I really picked up that it had an anti-American tone to it. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I think it's a common thing that any media format does, is this comparison game all the time. And even in the way she talked about the the thought process and the way we are, she distinguished some differences between us. The goal of, I didn't even know she was doing the portion about the Americans or going down and visiting the NRA or doing any of that. And really, I mean, it is a different culture. I don't think it's necessarily a worse culture. It's just different. I'm not an expert on American gun culture or American, gun law. So, I'll let Rod join in on that. But, it doesn't really bother me. I do think it is a bit of a different culture.
Did you pick up any anti-American sentiment, Rod?
Well,
on the finished product?
There always is. We get that comparison all the time, right? America's always used as what we don't want to be, and that's why we don't want to loosen any gun laws or whatever. But I would have a hard time seeing them do a gun documentary without referencing the United States, because it is kind of an outlier in certain areas, statistically speaking. But I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, I guess if you were to zoom out and look at this in its totality, if Vice was doing a gun documentary, you should have anxiety. You'd be like, oh, how bad are we going to get raked across the coals, right? And so maybe I'm looking at it from a realistic perspective. Anytime that we're portrayed in a 22-minute documentary in the media, it's usually negative. Well, the 98% of the time it's negative. So you know what? I think she made some observations on the American gun culture. I thought, actually, I really enjoyed the lady that was talking about the concept of her being her own first responder. I thought that segment was awesome. And I thought, what a courageous woman. So I thought that they did some service to the gun culture down there.
Excellent. Okay. I want to share a quote with you that I read on Facebook today. I'm going to leave the username out and just read the quote and ask you for your reactions to the quote. And it goes like this. I give this thing about a 3 out of 10. A couple of points for effort and trying to be understanding. As for factual information, 1 point. They are incorrect about self-defense in the home in Canada, which allows for deadly force. And of course, they neglected to consult any experts, whether experts on law and experts on epidemiology. Canada does in fact track mass homicides. I have the statistics. There's a great deal of evidence there is a great deal of evidence the laws don't prevent homicide. Basically, it's the formulation of opinion and some shooting. So how would you guys like to respond to that? Do we agree? I mean, is it overly critical? Basically,
ladies first.
All right. Yes, go ahead, ma'am.
I would say, yeah, you're right. That's exactly right. That's what it was. It wasn't meant to be a scientific, data-driven documentary. It was meant to be more of a promotional piece, which it was. Some of the things she said, I agree. There is a right to self-defense in the home under the proper circumstances, and I've taken the use of force course, so I understand that. So yeah, she was mistaken on that, and I would encourage, if anybody, like I do with every media piece that I've ever seen, is if I see anything that is wrong with it, I write into the people responsible for the article and just offer my support and a correction, which I would encourage everybody to do. As far as quoting statistics, and there is a time and a place for that, and I would be open to working on a project such as that. This, however, was not that type of project. This is absolutely a promotional piece for the shooting sports in Canada, and we were happy to. It was meant to appeal to the young people and millennials and people who didn't grow up around firearms, and it's meant to dispel some of the media, the myths that are created about us, that we're these, kind of, redneck rough types, or I don't know what you want to call it, but yeah, it's just meant to. It's a promotional piece to appeal to young people. The viewing age of Vice pieces are between 18 and 32. They're not going to sit through 22 minutes of statistical data. They're not. So if that's what somebody was expecting out of this, then yeah, they would be disappointed, and perhaps they should, offer themselves up to somebody that's willing to produce a piece like that. Vice, however, is doing a fun promotional piece, and I was proud to be part of that.
Awesome. Rod, anything to add to that?
There's, as you guys well know, in the firearms community, and probably any community, there's always people that had a different vision of what this thing would have been, and they're disappointed. So if you're looking for, facts and figures, you'll definitely find those out there. But we actually, we ended up with a really rare and valuable opportunity, and it was a piece that was produced by someone else, by Vice, at no cost to gun owners, that was centered on humanizing gun owners. And that kind of publicity is very expensive, and it was actually a really good opportunity for us. And they did a good job of humanizing us, because that's what we are. So it was a very different type of piece, and not everybody's going to be happy with everything that you do. But I'm happy with it. Were there inaccuracies? Absolutely. Yeah, there was a couple in those, and what was pointed out that's true, but still, it wasn't the point of the documentary, so it's negligible in my opinion.
Very good. My co-hosts, any final questions or thoughts or comments for Tracy and Rod before we say thank you and let them go?
Well, I mean, it's better than a CBC piece, so.
Well, that's not difficult.
There's a high bar.
Yeah. Well, out of the shadow,
fake news.
Out of the shadows had its place. It wasn't as bad of a beta switch as what people thought.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I just wanted to say thank you to both Rod and Tracy for actually doing it and having the courage to, take on the task. They represented gun owners in Canada really, really well, so I wanted to thank you both for that. And also, Tracy, we're going to promote the calendar every opportunity we get. So
awesome.
Thank you for all your help with that as well, because you know what? Just like the lady that was in that piece, female, she's in her 20s, I'm guessing. Those are the type of ladies that we want to get into the shooting sports. So, yeah. But,
absolutely.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome.
Good stuff, guys.
Well, thank you very much for joining us again, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you again in the not-too-distant future.
Thanks very much, guys.
Enjoy the rest of the show.
Well, thanks again to Rod and Tracy for joining us and talking about the documentary there. That was it was fun to have them on. We've got to have them on more often. No? You guys don't agree? No? All right, crickets. All right, we've got to have them on more often. You guys are like, yeah, tweet, no.
I concur.
Yeah, you're not fast enough.
Too.
That was awkward. They're not going to like you.
The silence was acceptance.
Oh, the silence.
Yeah.
Oh, I shall take your silence as a yes. Is that what I
Exactly.
should have? All
That's
right.
what you should have. Way to make it awkward.
It's too late. And thanks for listening. Wait, I just figured we were at awkward. We must be done the show. No?
I mean, we're still in the show.
Yeah. Don't
Right.
we have this new thing we're doing this week?
We are doing a new thing this week. Trevor was reading to me, as he does,
Awkwardly.
awkwardly. I was over at his place last weekend or the weekend before, I can't count, something like that. And he's like, you got to hear this. And so he pulled out the local classifieds, and he started reading me gun ads, and they were pretty funny. So Jewel was listening in on this, and she said, that should be a new segment on the show. Well, here we are. So Trevor, take it away. Read us some funny gun classified ads.
I found a couple other ones, but I'm definitely going to do these three. The first one here, if you're looking for a 330 model 94, then you need to call this number.
A 330?
330, yep. You call 685-0828 if you're looking for a 330 model 94.
I've been looking for a 330. I've never been able to find one, though.
Well,
They're
good
all
news.
like 3030s, but a 330? Man, that extra zero.
The very next one is actually a Merlin 330
Oh,
model.
two 330s in the same spot.
Yeah, one's a Model 94 and the other one's a Marlin 330. So, and there's also some restricted handguns for sale.
That's it, huh? Just restricted handguns for sale. Call.
Well, and also the person is selling a 22 slingshot for $400.
Nice.
What?
A 22 slingshot. You take the slingshot, you put 22 shells in it, and bam.
The same person also has a 9mm $700.
Sweet.
You figure out what brand, I guess.
Just any
No,
sort
it's
of
just bullets.
Yeah.
Are they charging by the letter?
I guess.
They must be.
Actually,
I thought they were free. Yeah,
this is all free. This is all free, Kelly. I think that's explained.
Put in as many letters
here.
as you want. Okay, 9mm, $700.
Okay,
Good
look.
run,
All right, I got a couple more to get through.
All right.
This one starts off strong. For sale, 303, number 4, Mark 1, Long Branch. That's $350. We all know a Long Branch in good condition is worth a lot of money. So, all right. Also, some ammo and reloading stuff. It literally says that. Reloading stuff.
Reloading stuff.
I have reloading stuff for sale. Can you put that in the ad?
many?
Yeah, how many reloading stuffs?
I don't know. I'm not sure. 2 more. We got a for sale 303 Army gun. Please call.
Oh, the Army gun.
The best one yet, and this one I really need to call and ask about. This one is for sale. 30-06 Army gun 1918. 30-06. What does that remind you of?
Like 30? ODD, like odd?
Yeah, it literally says the number 30
6.
and then ODD 6. I think they meant to say 30-06. Yeah. 30-06 Army gun from 1918. That's
that
worth calling,
could actually be a...
Yeah, that could be a Springfield 1903.
You should call on that one. Because we know you're into Milsurp now, so...
Yep.
Shut it.
Well, it's true.
Yeah, no, I should definitely call on that one, and I should call on the Long Branch. And the reloading stuff.
There could be some good deals in there. I've found some of the worst worded stuff, they've got the best deals.
Yeah, because they may not know what they've got. 303 Army gun and a 30-06 Army gun. There you go. And I bet they don't ask for a PAL. I'll report back next week. I will call these numbers tomorrow and let you know what I find out.
Cool.
Okay.
I look forward to this.
All right. So, listeners, if you come across any entertaining, funny gun classified ads, please feel free to send them in and share them. We'll all have a laugh at somebody else's expense.
Sounds good to me. All right, listener feedback then. Adriel. How'd you like to read this one from James?
James Bork, a.k.a. Ginger Snaps. Listeners, don't listen to the Patreon podcast with special guest James B. I thought I was listening to a modern rifleman radio show. It is terrible. Long periods of silence followed by, I don't know what. Every New Brunswick teacher's dream. It's what you get when everyone gets a participation medal.
Aww.
It did not work. I picked a topic thinking we would talk about other podcast shows and raise awareness. How I was wrong. Trevor can turn anything into, this is how I do things. My God, if I was a stalker, I could draw some pictures and leave them at the front door with notes.
Remember that time you got a picture, Trevor?
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Kelly, you're mad on the gun podcast. I never knew that there was that many. Adriel, I'm flying out west for Christmas. Maybe I can buy you a Quebec pizza for lunch.
a Pop-Tart with ketchup. Then you know you made it. Remember, listeners, open those portefeuille?
Portefeuille.
Yeah? Portefeuille?
Yeah, you basically nailed it, Adriel.
Wallets? Okay, I'm a really good Frenchman.
Wallets. Open your wallets.
They are nowhere close to the corporate jet. I want to be whisked off to a Matt Furlot Handguns Vitals just so I can ask for my money back. For a podcast, it was nice. It was a nice try, but I'll never do that again. Thanks for the free. Keep up the good work. Fire your PA that got your last special guest. P.S. There will be a cease and assist from my lawyers.
Yeah, not cease and desist.
No,
A cease and assist. This is like a funny gun ad.
Yeah.
PPS, about the question how to make the show better. Trevor, you need a MADD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, female anti-gunny mom that will take the opposite side of whatever you say, no matter what you say. You might not get anywhere in a conversation, but I'll be rolling on the floor. I'll give you 5 stars, but I will need them back.
Thank you, James, I think
so, too. I thought the podcast with him went quite well, actually, but what do I know? Apparently, he thought it was terrible.
It was fun.
It was fun. He's just pulling our chain. All
Well,
right,
it
Trevor.
wasn't it wasn't our best or anything, but
Well, I mean, he was on. How could it be?
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, I meant to take the ginger snaps out of there, but hey, James just got himself a nickname.
Ginger snaps, huh?
Ginger snaps.
Yeah, well, he is a ginger, and he just snapped at us.
Yeah, ginger snaps.
That's how I put that together. He's
I
the
like
ginger,
that.
and okay,
You did it all by yourself? Did Christina help you at all?
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
Cool. I mean, hey, don't be ashamed to accept help. We all learn at different rates. Trevor, speaking of learning at different rates, want to read this next one for us? It's short,
No.
so I thought of you.
Oh, so is my fuse. So this is from Sharp97. He says, "Thanks for the advice, guys. I will definitely look into exactly what kind of sport we should model our league after. On your advice, you guys suggested Steel Challenge. So I'm wondering how that would be different in Ontario, with the shrouding and all. I've heard something about Cowboy Action not having to shroud their steel, but I wouldn't know. Thanks again, Sharp97. So, yeah, true Steel Challenge, not made-up Steel Challenge or Outlaw Steel Challenge. True Steel Challenge can't be done with shrouding.
No.
The way the targets are constructed, it just can't happen.
Not unless you, there'd be no, you'd have to have, some huge sort of, no, you just couldn't do it.
Yep. So why is it that Cowboy Action can be shot?
Because cowboy guns are safer, Trevor. You know that.
Oh,
Because-
right. Yeah.
Well, it's because
they're
of the powder.
older.
It's because this softer lead and the powder charge.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell yourself that. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't they?
They don't have to shroud.
No,
Not
they
here
don't.
in Ontario.
We know. We know they don't have to, but why is it they don't have to, but everybody else
I don't
does? Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
said so.
Yeah, I guess so.
So
Just-
I did.
Just like
Okay.
when we get our range certification from the CFO New Brunswick, it says that none of our pistol bays are approved for shotgun, but they are approved for Cowboy Action.
Right.
Wait, what?
There's shotgun and cowboy.
Exactly. Anyway,
I did respond to him though, because I know that we at here I am. I just told you I'm going to go to Frontenac. Anyway, Frontenac, they have a huge bunker there, and they do run Steel Challenge matches there, and they use a dueling tree. They use the Texas Star. They use
that's
poppers.
not Steel Challenge though.
What is it?
It's just shooting steel. Steel Challenge doesn't use plate racks. Steel Challenge doesn't use Texas Stars. Steel Challenge
really?
is a set of standardized stages that are built to a certain specification, and the targets are steel plates on posts, and they are steel rectangles welded on posts, and you set them up in the bay, and you run 5 runs at them. Just Google Steel Challenge and go to their website, and you'll see what I'm talking about, and you'll understand why it can't be official. That's why I started off by saying official, actual Steel Challenge matches can't.
You can still have a lot of fun with them, even if they had to be shrouded, though. So you could
How
still
would
do
you-
this, even if they were shrouded. You wouldn't be able to do an official Steel Challenge run, but you can still use all the same rules and have that as your basis for your league there. You may have to modify it slightly, but that's fine. There's nothing wrong with modifying things.
How you shot our steel challenge targets? How would you go about shrouding those?
Well, you wouldn't do it the exact same way as Steel Challenge is what I'm trying to say.
You
come
couldn't
up
use
with a
steel
way.
challenge targets, right? You'd have to use
Exactly. Come up with a different way, but I'm just saying use the Steel Challenge rules if you still want a set of rules that you have to abide by so that you have a starting point.
modified targets.
Sure.
Something smaller that you could get a shroud around.
Sure.
Yeah.
But look into it. Maybe Steel Challenge also has the exemption from shouting. Who knows? Call your CFO and find out.
Yeah, they would have a much bigger problem with Steel Challenge because the plates don't fall, and some ranges and some CFOs require all steel to fall.
Yeah. Well, until he calls the CFO himself, he won't know for sure. So.
Yeah. You know what he could look into is the Glock. Glock has its own shooting sport. I think it's called Glock. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember it off the top of my head. And that does use plate racks and stuff like that. So that may be a more suitable and adaptable to ranges that have bunkers.
Yeah, possibly.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
All right.
I'm Googling.
You're Googling? All right, I was going to get you to read this next one, but I can do it then if you're Googling. Next one's from Justin. He says, I know that CBC isn't a favorite source. However, I'm interested in your opinion on the use of the term small arsenal. Is it properly applied? Have you noticed the other article in the last week that had to do with a licensed firearms owner clearly and intentionally breaking the law? It's a court-named man allegedly selling guns to criminals after buying them himself. Do you have any concerns that stories like this will make it more difficult for use as law-abiding gun owners to have restrictions on our favorite things, black guns and 22 mags, be removed? Lastly, and I understand this will be an unpopular question, is our current background check and personal reference system thorough enough to weed out most of these bad apples? P.S. I personally believe in the system, but I often play devil's advocate if only to ensure we have a strong defense. P.P.S. On a lighter note, do you intentionally mispronounce Patreon or not? I need to know if it's an inside joke or something so that it'll stop raising my blood pressure every time. You are the only podcast I listen to that pronounces it that way, so it catches my personal idiosyncrasies. No need to stop, just let me know. Otherwise, I'll have to drink or something every time I listen to an episode. So that's from Justin, and we're just going to skip right over that part, and we're not going to tell him if we're doing it intentionally or not, right? Because we want him to...
He can drink.
I will tell
him to say it like that.
Yeah, Adriel's right. He can drink. And I will say this, Justin. Every podcast I listen to that has a Patreon program pronounces it Patreon. So, I don't know what to tell you.
Everybody's wrong, apparently, though, because Kelly researched it, and it's actually pronounced Patreon.
Yep.
So
By the
we
Patreon
just all pronounce it a different way. Then one of us got to be right.
I would think that the company who owns it would be the defining source.
They have stolen the name from the term patronage.
Right.
Pronounced patronage.
Unless you're British, in which case it's patronage.
But we're not. So
maybe they're British, though.
We're Canadian.
We are Canadian. That's pretty close to British.
Got British spelling.
All right.
So, yeah, it's Patreon. And it's actually Patreoni, so...
Yes, yeah. Justin.
So back to your serious part. So he's referring to the article that we read earlier where the guy got busted for hit and run and then got all his guns taken by the police because they're all illegal, or a lot of them were. So
small arsenal.
Do we have an issue with the term small arsenal? I mean, what is an arsenal? If you look it up in the dictionary, what's an arsenal? It's a large collection of weapons, isn't it?
Yep.
So if it's properly applied, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, English is English.
The fact is that CBC will always use the scariest terms possible because of their anti-gun agenda. So, yeah, I have a problem when CBC uses it because CBC will not use it in the correct context.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll complain about someone having thousands of rounds.
I have a problem with the CBC, period.
Yeah.
So
yeah, me too.
Anything they do, I don't like.
Later on, he says, do you have any concern that stories like this will make it more difficult for us as law-abiding citizens or law-abiding gun owners to have restrictions on our... Yes, these stories are always meant to taint public opinion.
Yep. And
get people who are on the fence to fall on the side they want. So we as gun owners don't go out there very often. We don't control the mass media and the public media. So we don't get to promote the safety and the fun and the culture. The only time guns get into the mass media is when it's in a negative light.
Yep.
So absolutely have a concern about it, because the only thing that people on the fence are ever seeing on the 6 o'clock news is the bad side of gun ownership.
And we see this all the time too, because whenever I talk to people who are, maybe just on the wrong side of the fence, not rabidly anti-gun, but they just like,
the only
guns are bad.
exposure they get is from
and a
the
simple
media.
5-minute conversation with many of these people
Turns it all around.
promptly pop them back onto the correct side of the fence, because all they need is that logic and that common sense of, what we all know, what the best arguments are there. So, all we need is that small, simple conversation with them. And that actually happened yesterday at school with one of the students in grade 12. She was talking about gun control, and I wasn't even part of the conversation, but I overheard it, and so of course my ears perked up, and I swung my head over and asked just a couple innocent questions about her thoughts on gun control, and then
debunked everything she thought she knew.
Every single one. And she is rabidly anti-gun. She's too steeped in what she's seen in the news and on the internet and stuff. So I couldn't convince her, but I convinced easily a half dozen other students who were standing around listening, going, well, what he's saying makes sense. Oh yeah, that's common sense. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. So even if you don't get the person who is bringing up the negative side, you can easily swing the opinion of people listening in.
Ask Matthew, depending on what classes you're involved in, if you can play the documentary. I played the documentary for my class this morning.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And it spurred all kinds of conversation, because I have a lot of students who come from rural areas who I know that there are firearms all around, and I doubt very much that there are licensing, and there's a whole lack of understanding of our laws, and there's no desire to learn them.
Right.
They never run into any kind of law enforcement, so there's a whole attitude in parts of rural Canada where it doesn't apply to them.
Yep.
And in fact, it does.
Yes, it does.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for the email, Justin, and hopefully we answered your question satisfactorily, except for the Patreon part.
Yeah, and hopefully you're a Patreon.
Hopefully. You should be a Patreon if you're not. Yeah. So if you'd like to send an email to the show, you can send it to slamfireradio@gmail.com. We don't have any new iTunes reviews as of the recording of this show, but we would like to thank everybody who has left their iTunes reviews. We certainly do like them. So feel free to pop onto iTunes there and send us some love. Shout-outs.
Mike from the Reloading Podcast, you know why. Thank you for doing me a solid. I don't know if it's done yet. If it's not, here's a friendly reminder. Ken Kowalski invited me to replace Brian on Modern Rifleman Radio today, so I think I'm going to take him up on that.
Probably a good call.
Yeah,
like permanently though, right?
Permanent?
Well, I don't know. I don't run the show.
Doesn't matter.
But I mean, I'm willing to do it permanently.
Sure.
It's not like Brian ever contributed much anyway.
I wonder if Brian knows that he's out.
Yeah. Ken put it publicly on his wall.
Oh, it would have been funnier if he didn't even know. So Brian starts to call in at recording time, and Ken's like, "No, we're not going to answer that."
Yeah, thanks. And he would say something like, "Thanks for believing in me, Brian," and hang up on him.
Right.
Yeah, because Ken Kowalski graduated today from his gunsmithing school. So
yes, congratulations to Ken.
Yes, congratulations.
Yep, that's cool. So we can ask him which bits to use in the Dremel and what the perfect ratio of JB Weld is.
Absolutely.
And which kind of Krylon to apply for
Yes.
camo finish.
Yep. Beauty.
Yeah.
All right.
I got a shout out for just Mark again for taking me out for dinner and making
Feeding you
that.
corn.
Feeding me what? Corn?
Corn.
Yes.
If he takes
no.
me out for dinner again, I'm definitely ordering corn, but only if he makes it.
You will see him again this summer. You realize.
I know, and he
when
has a good sense of humor. I really hope.
When he beats you upside the head with a corn on the cob.
Oh, that would be funny. Oh, that would be so funny. After I woke up,
Showed you the footage. It was corn the whole time.
it was corn.
I got to shout out to Filthy. He put a video on Facebook tonight that I'm trying to watch right now, but I can't listen to the volume. There's a stock in there and a bayonet, and my 308. So I'm really getting excited to see what this is all about. It says, Merry Christmas, Trevor, from your friends in the Empire.
Sounds promising.
Yeah. Merry Christmas to you, Phil.
And I have one to Stacy, and she'll know why.
All right. Excellent. Well, our Patreon supporters, which are many now, we have a new one. It's Patrick, who is a Patreon for 556. So that's cool. We like the calibers. And our current list of Patreonies is... Can I do it all in one breath? Probably not.
I don't think you
Howard,
have to do it all. Let's just do the new ones.
All right. Well, Howard, you got your name in there anyway.
Howard and the rest of y'all.
Howard and the rest of y'all, because
Thanks for being Patreonies.
It's awesome that you're all Patreonies. All right. So that's it. That's the show for this week. So we are happy that you joined us and wasted a couple of hours of your time listening to us ramble on. Please, if you haven't yet, join one or more of our National Firearms Associations. Please check us out on Gun Owners of Canada. It's a really cool gun forum. You've heard us talk about it before. And also, please head over to Facebook if you are so inclined and hit that like button. We do post our shows on there, and every now and then we post up just random gun-related things that the hosts find interesting. So if you like our Facebook page, you'll get some interesting gun-related stuff from that too. Yeah, that's it for the show. So thank you for listening. And we will see you next week.
Go see Star Wars this weekend.
That's what I was going to do.
If not, you're a communist.
Or a rebel. Rebel scum. Dun, 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 dun.
So if you have any comments or questions for the show, please send an email to slamfireradio@gmail.com. Now go grab a gun and shoot something.
When the talking is over, it's time to get a gun.
Hey, listeners. That was lame. I'm doing that again. Hey, you, what's going on?
Yeah, that's that awkward, you see the guy in the street, you recognize him, you can't remember his name.
I don't know who you are. Hey, you there. Haven't seen you in a while.
Do I know you? No, but there you are.
There you are. And there I go. Goodbye.